So we have briefly looked at the variability of a distribution, and in section 5.5 we're going to use some new concepts to help us better describe variability. And we're going to use range and quartiles. So first, the range is a measure of variability of a set of observations that is obtained by subtracting the smallest observation from the largest observation. Quartiles divide a set of observations into 4 parts and help show the shape of a distribution. So let's look more closely at how to find these measures. So first, to find the range, as we said, we just subtract the smallest observation from the largest observation. So the range is equal to the maximum value of a data set minus the minimum value. So that's pretty easy. You just have to find the largest and smallest values and find their difference. To find the quartiles, quartiles are related to the median of a data set. So first, we need to arrange all the observations in increasing order, just like you did to find the median. And then we find the median and use the median to split the ordered data set into 2 halves, an upper half and a lower half. If we have an odd number of values in our data set, then we don't include the middle value in either half. After that, we've got 2 halves of our data set, and the first quartile, Q1, is the median of the lower half, and the third quartile, Q3, is the median of the upper half. So to give you a better idea of what we're doing here, I'm just going to draw a little picture at the bottom. So if I have all of my values arranged in increasing order, all of my observations listed in increasing order, then the median is the middle observation. So that splits the data set into 2 halves, a lower half and an upper half. And then the first quartile, Q1, is the median of the lower half, so it's in the middle of the lower half here. And the third quartile, Q3, is the median of the upper half. So it'll be this value here. So it breaks up our data set into 4 sections, where the median just broke it up into 2 sections. So now that we've gone through the processes to find these things, let's look at an example. And I'm going to go back to my chart, which has the city mile per gallon of a bunch of 2011 model year vehicles. And the first thing I want to do is find the range of the values for city mile per gallon. So the range is equal to the maximum value minus the minimum value. And looking at my chart, my maximum value is 51 for the Toyota Prius. My minimum value is 16 for the Infiniti. So 51 minus 16 is 35. So my range is 35 miles per gallon. It's the difference between my biggest value and my smallest value. Next, let's look at finding the quartiles of the values for city mile per gallon. So the first step here is to arrange all the observations in increasing order. And I've done this before for previous examples, so I'm just going to copy that here. So these are all my observations in increasing order. And once I've got that, I want to find the median so that I can split it up into 2 halves. So my median, I've got 13 observations here, so the median is going to be the 7th observation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is my median is 19 here. So I'm going to use that to split the data set into 2 halves. And since I've got an odd number of observations, I'm just going to leave out this 19. My lower half is going to be this side here, everything from 16 through that 18, and my upper half is going to include the second 19 and everything up to 51. So I've done that here. So this is my data set split into 2 halves. Now to find the quartiles, the first quartile, Q1, is the median of the lower half, and the third quartile, Q3, is the median of the upper half. So let's look at my lower half here. Now I've got 6 observations in each half. So to find the median, I'm going to look at the center 2 and take their mean. So for my lower half, I've got 17 and 17 are my 2 middle observations. So Q1 is going to be equal to 17 plus 17 divided by 2, which is just 17 miles per gallon. And then my third quartile, Q3, is the median of the upper half. So my center 2 observations there are 22 and 22. Then Q3 is just going to be 22 plus 22 divided by 2, which is 22 miles per gallon. So in this case it was nice, and both of them I had the same 2 numbers in the center. So it worked out that Q1 was just the same as both of these, 17, and Q3 is the same as both of these, 22. Alright, so that's nice. So we've figured out our range and quartiles. So now, what happens if I ignore the outlier of the Toyota Prius and I look at these numbers again? So if I leave out the Toyota Prius, that just drops the 51 off of my data set. So here they are arranged in increasing order again without the Toyota Prius on there. My range is the max minus the min, so that will be 24 minus 16. So now my range is 8 miles per gallon, which is much smaller than what we had before. Much smaller. We had 35 miles per gallon as our range before. Now to find the quartiles, first we want to find the median of the data set. So now I've got 12 observations instead of 13, so I need to split it up by finding the 6th and 7th observations, and that will be this 18 and 19 here. So that's where my median of my whole data set is, and I'm going to use that to cut the data set in half. So my lower half now is going to be 16 up through this 18, and my upper half is going to include both 19s this time and go up through 24. So if I write those out, this is what I get for my lower half and my upper half. Now I've still got 6 observations in each of my halves. So Q1 is the median of my lower half. And again, I've just got 2 17s there. That hasn't changed at all. So I get 17 plus 17 divided by 2 is 17 miles per gallon. My upper half has changed a little bit. So now my center 2 observations are 21 and 22. This is Q1, and Q3 is going to be 21 plus 22 divided by 2 is 21.5 miles per gallon. So that's just slightly lower than what we had for when we were including the Toyota Prius. It didn't change it very much. So our quartiles stayed pretty much the same, but our range changed a whole lot when we left out the outlier. Alright, so that finishes up this section, the things you should know. You should be able to find the range of a set of observations and also find the quartiles of a set of observations.